Hello, my name is Mark Halbig. I'm a behavior support specialist at the Albuquerque Public Schools. This video is one of those serious virtual classroom scenarios, sexual harassment. So what we're going to look at is, let's take this situation. During a Google Meet, a student displays or says something sexually inappropriate. How should you respond? So this one's going to be a little bit different than like when students bomb a Google Meet. So let's get started. Here are 4 guided questions to the video. Please pause and reflect on these. We recommend discussing and planning around these with a small collaborative group so you have more input from various people. So, teacher mindset, just like bombing Google Meet, is going to be key. In this particular instance, this is such a serious situation that requests assistance. This is not something you should try to address on your own. If this happens in your class, of course, you're going to be angry and upset. But like bombing a Google Meet, we have to try to separate out our emotions from our reaction. And is our reaction going to help calm or inflame the situation? What do you have control over as the teacher in this situation? Again, with Google Meet, as it currently is, there's very little control that we have over the situation. We could try to remove this student individually, but this student could come right back in. Google Meet's supposed to address this, but in the meantime, we have to plan around what we have. Also, know your legal rights and obligations in this particular situation. So we'll talk about that a little bit more as the video continues. And after this, how would we move forward with this student in our class? That's something that needs to be addressed as well. So during the meet, if this happens, because there's this display of either a student exposing themselves or showing sexually explicit material, if it gets to that point, I'm going to end the meet immediately, because I'm not going to allow a meeting to occur where students are exposed to this. So you have to decide to the degree of what's occurring. But in this case, if a student's exposing him or herself, just taking a break is not enough. I'm going to end this meet, but I'm also going to tell students as I'm ending this meet, the meeting was recorded, that this type of behavior, guardians, school, and district will be contacted. Sexual harassment is very serious, and there could be district or legal consequences. And then I'm going to be telling students to please leave. So I want the student who's doing this and the others to hear the seriousness of this and what consequences could come. Because a lot of times students, they aren't thinking about the long-term consequences. They're thinking we have a lack of control. But this is so serious, other groups may be getting involved. So who are these other groups? Like I mentioned before, our school administration, we need to be running everything through them. So immediately after I end the meet, that's who I'm contacting. They'll know, like, district-wise, who to contact. Does APS police need to be involved? I'm not having this meeting with the guardians by myself, so the school administration, you could have a school counselor there. The Office of Equal Opportunity Services, this is the district office that specifically addresses these situations. So if you feel appropriate steps aren't being taken, this is a resource you can use at the district to help address this. When the student returns to your class, if you're feeling uncomfortable, you can contact the behavior support specialist. We can do virtual observations with the student, and just seeing that extra support may be a reinforcer to the student of what they need to do in the future. So what's next? We need to have that student conference, but this is not a student conference I'm holding by myself. All the appropriate stakeholders need to be involved, including administration or like a school counselor. trying to determine, why did the student do this? Was this just them being funny? Is there something that needs to be addressed further? How did the student's actions impact not only you, but the class as a whole? Because that'll come along with the reentry expectations. And how do we rebuild trust? Because it's not going to come back overnight. For when the student does come back to your class, there needs to be very clear expectations and a school plan. Like, do they need to meet with us before the meet? Do they need to meet with us in administration before the next few meets? What's the plan? How is this student going to make amends to the rest of the class? Because this affected a large group. And when the student is back, reinforcing the desired behaviors. So we can't hold us over the student just in an ongoing manner. We do need to acknowledge that when they are meeting our expectations, we are seeing that. With the rest of our class, when that student's not present, we need to address this situation. Thank them for how they handled it well. Establish protocols in case this happens again. We're going to immediately do this. This is how I'll get your work to you. How are we going to address this? How we should treat the student upon their return, because we need to give the student an opportunity to make amends. And maybe as a thank you, we provide some free time or an incentive as a thank you to reinforce that we appreciate how they handled this behavior. So for a final task, let's make a plan. Pick one of these two ways, creating that script or checklist to follow in case this happens, and how do we prepare our students in terms of how to react in case we have to end the meeting, what steps will be taken. So pick one of those two ways to prepare so that you feel more prepared if the situation were to occur. So thank you for your time today. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Let us know what kind of content you'd like to see. You can also do this by emailing us at bss@aps.edu. Thank you and have a good day.